Today, on May 20th, Srila Gurudev said, in Gita Nagari, Pennsylvania, in 1998. So Gurudev was speaking at an ISKCON community called Gita Nagari, and he spoke about how he met with Swami Prabhupada and served him. He told about how he helped perform his sannyas ceremony, and how he sent DDs from India to him in the West for his temples, and how he would send him this pera, milk sweet. So then in this quote he says, I remember his last days when I was nearby his lotus feet. And at that time he told me, you should help my devotees. He also requested me to place him in samadhi. He called me to join his mission here, this is before. But at that time I could not come. At that time I was engaged in my Gurudev's service. It took me about 19 years to obey his orders. But Bhaktivedanta Swami followed his Gurudev's orders after 43 years. So I am not so late. I have no self-interest. I am only here to help those who need help. All those who worship Gaurachandra and Nityananda Prabhu and who follow the teachings of Rupa Goswami and others. They are all in the Gaudiya family. We see that in the transcendental world there may be some difference of opinions, but we should not commit any offense. Manifestations of His mercy will be realized in the disciples' hearts according to their stage and qualification. Some differences may appear, but we should not quarrel. So there's a lot of important things. Gita Nagari is a community of devotees living in Pennsylvania, in the US. ISKCON community in Pennsylvania. They have a few communities like Sharanagati in British Columbia, in Canada. There's a community in Alachua. Nagari means a town, actually. Nagari. Nagar or Nagari. So Gurudev mentions that Prabhupada would call him to his quarters in Vrindavan. Prabhupada says that almost every day or 2 days, Swami Prabhupada would send a car to Mathura and request Gurudev to come see him. And also every day, one brahmachari, who's now a Kinchan Maharaj, he would go and serve Prabhupada with different kinds of naturopathic massage and medicine. And so Gurudev talks about his last instructions. Gurudev said that Prabhupada was like his Shiksha Guru and also like his bosom friend. And they had known each other since Gurudev had joined the Math in 1947. In 48, I believe, he met Prabhupada for the first time during a lecture given by Param Gurudev. So when he was close to departing from this world, Prabhupada requested him that you should help my devotees. One of his main instructions. That's why we see when Gurudev went to the West, he said, my mission here is to help the disciples of Swami Prabhupada. And he said, I'm going everywhere where Prabhupada went and I'm taking the dust from those places on my head. So we see how much love and honor he had for Prabhupada. Then another instruction Prabhupada gave is that you should put me in samadhi, place me in samadhi. Generally, samadhi is given by the successor. So it's one indication that Gurudev was Swami Prabhupada's spiritual successor. Because not only did he place him in samadhi, but he was requested specifically to do this by Swami Prabhupada. So it's doubly significant. Then he called me to join his mission here. Swami Prabhupada requested Gurudev to join him in the West when he started preaching there. But at that time, Gurudev was in charge of the Keshaji Gaudiya Math. He was publishing the monthly Patrika He was doing many books, translations and publications, and in other ways he was very busy serving his Gurudev. So he said, I could not come then, but I honored his instruction by going in 1996. So he spoke this in 98. So he had already been traveling for 2-3 years then. But he said, I waited 19 years, which means from 1977 to 96. But he mentions that Swami Prabhupada received instruction from his Gurudev, and he got initiation from him, that he told him to go and preach in the West, in the English language. And he waited 43 years. So Gurudev said, I went and followed his instruction in less than half the time. So it's not that I was that late. But when I was able to go and help, then I went and helped. Then Gurudev makes another important point, which is that he says, I have no self-interest. We learn this verse. Nishreya saya bhagavan kalpate nandita kuchit. The sadhus travel not for their own selfish interest, but only to help give the highest good to everyone else. So Gurudev said, I'm only here to help those who need help. If we look at Gurudev's preaching in the West, a lot of his main core principle in his preaching was helping the devotees who may have become weak in their spiritual life. Even more than it was to bring new people, Gurudev was trying to help the people who had been brought by Prabhupada, to re-inspire, re-enliven. And then also we see their families who may not have been initiated yet. He helped them, and many of us were children of the disciples of Swami Prabhupada. And so many of us also came, or children of devotees who were in ISKCON. So Gurudev also brought them into the movement. Then Gurudev makes the point that he is helping those who are in the family of the Gaudiyas. And the Gaudiya family is a very broad thing. It's not focused on just one institution. You may be in one institution or another institution or another society, but if you're all following Mahaprabhu and Nityananda and the teachings of Rupa Goswami, then you're in the family of the Gaudiyas. And even in that family of the Gaudiyas, people may have different opinions on some topics. You see nowadays people are debating the topic of Jiva Tattva, if the inherent nature of the living entity is fixed in one mood and relationship, or if it's changeable. So there's many kinds of opinions about this and other topics. But Gurudev said we should never commit offense and we should not quarrel and argue. If someone has a different opinion that is coming from their guru, then we should honor them while at the same time remaining loyal to our own Gurudev. So we can remain loyal and honor our Gurudev while also respecting others. So there's no need to criticize. And part of the reason why we have different opinions is because the mercy of Krishna and Guru comes in our hearts according to our stage in bhakti and to our qualification. And so we may realize something according to our level, and then when we rise to a higher level, we'll get a different realization. So there's no need to quarrel. So Gurudev makes these beautiful points, and that is the quote for the day.